Next, we move to specification number 4, which asks us to explain how various processes help maintain a constant internal body temperature in mammals. These include sweating, shivering, contraction of hair erector muscles, and the vasodilation or vasoconstriction of arterioles supplying the skin's surface capillaries. Here, we need to discuss how each of these mechanisms contributes to either losing or conserving heat to keep the body temperature stable. Let's begin our discussion with negative feedback in thermoregulation. Negative feedback is the mechanism that helps maintain a stable internal body temperature of around 37 degrees Celsius. Thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus and skin detect any deviation from this normal temperature, whether the body becomes too hot or too cold. Once a change is detected, the hypothalamus sends impulses to effectors such as sweat glands, muscles, and blood vessels to counteract it. If the body is too hot, sweat production increases, blood vessels dilate, and hairs lie flat to promote heat loss. If the body is too cold, muscles shiver, blood vessels constrict, and hairs stand upright to conserve heat. These responses actively oppose the initial temperature change, bringing the body back toward 37 degrees Celsius. Once normal temperature is restored, the corrective actions stop, preventing overcorrection. In this way, negative feedback continuously maintains temperature stability by detecting deviations and triggering appropriate responses. Additionally, thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus and skin monitor changes in body temperature. If the temperature rises, the body reacts by producing sweat, widening blood vessels through vasodilation, and laying hairs flat to promote heat loss. If the temperature drops, the body responds with shivering, where muscle contractions generate heat, narrowing blood vessels through vasoconstriction, and raising hairs to trap air for insulation. These responses work to counteract the temperature change, and once the body returns to the normal 37 degrees Celsius, the corrective actions cease. As shown in the diagram, human body temperature regulation is an example of homeostasis, where the body maintains a stable internal temperature of around 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. This process, called thermoregulation, ensures that internal conditions remain within a narrow range for proper enzyme function and overall metabolic efficiency. When body temperature rises above normal, thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus and skin detect the change. The body then initiates cooling mechanisms, including increased sweating, vasodilation with widening of blood vessels, and hairs lying flat to allow heat to escape. Conversely, when body temperature falls below normal, the same thermoreceptors signal the hypothalamus to conserve and generate heat. Responses include vasoconstriction with narrowing of blood vessels, shivering to produce metabolic heat, and hair erection to trap insulating air close to the skin. These coordinated responses continuously adjust to counteract temperature deviations, keeping the body at the optimal 37 degrees Celsius. Similarly, you can see here in the diagram that thermoregulation is the homeostatic process by which the human body maintains its core temperature around 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit despite changes in the external environment. The hypothalamus acts as the body's thermostat, receiving signals from thermoreceptors in the skin and core, and triggering responses to either lose heat when the body is too hot or conserve and generate heat when it is too cold. When body temperature rises, the hypothalamus initiates heat loss mechanisms. Blood vessels dilate, increasing blood flow to the skin so heat can escape. Sweat glands produce sweat, which cools the body through evaporation. Hair follicle muscles relax, allowing hairs to lie flat and enhance air circulation. When body temperature falls, the hypothalamus triggers heat conservation and heat generation responses. Blood vessels constrict, reducing blood flow to the skin to minimize heat loss. Skeletal muscles contract involuntarily, producing heat through shivering. Erector pili muscles and hair follicles contract, making hair stand up and trap a layer of insulating air close to the skin, forming goosebumps. Thermoreceptors constantly detect temperature changes and send signals to the hypothalamus, which coordinates the sympathetic nervous system to control effectors like blood vessels, sweat glands, muscles, and hair follicles. This system works as a negative feedback loop, keeping body temperature within a narrow, functional range and ensuring enzymes and metabolic processes operate efficiently.